Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial video on how to use the time bot. I'm going to get stuck straight into it. Just to note that I'm using this manual as this how-to manual as my guide and my reference. If you do not have this, please contact your OSM to get it. It's always a good thing to keep on hand should you need it. Going to the first step. The first step is more of a setup step. It's not you won't have to do this every week. You'll just have to do this right in the beginning to set the bot up to make sure that it can receive your AX export file. So you'll need to email your contract order to your OSM and say, please could you set this contract order up so the bot can receive ERS AX export files. So what they'll do is they'll just log onto ATP support and maintenance, add the bot, because the bot is essentially user, add them as a user for that contract order. Then they're going to be sending the contract order to the bot support team to say, please add this to the bot's list of contract orders that need to use ERS logic to convert into ATP. All right. So once that's done, then you're good to go. Your next step would be to download the AX export file from ERS. And you've done this probably a few times. If you're on ERS, you will see time and attendance, export, and AX export. From here, you'll select your assignees, either a portion of the assignees, or you would select different grouping, departments, maybe different positions. Select that, and that. Select the date range, let's say from the 1st to the 7th, and then you generate. I'm not going to do this because this is a test account and it's going to fail when it downloads. But you should be able to set it up over here or download your AX export file. And some people call this the CSV file. It's the same thing, but you download it from here. Once you get your CSV file, let's go to the next thing over here. Once you've downloaded it, go straight past that. You go to the next step, which is checking your AX export file. Please make sure your AX export file has been set up correctly. I'm going to walk you through what it should look like and going to highlight certain things. But if it's not set up correctly, please contact your OSM and ask them to assist you in setting up your AX export file correctly. If I go to an example of an AX export file, you can see over here that column A has a unique ID. Column B, very important, needs to have the assignee number, and then the assignee name. Column D should be blank. Column E should be the client number, and that's not too important, but at least column F should be the units of time. Column G, the time type. We're going to come back to this in a moment because that's quite important. Column H is the shift, which isn't too important, but at least it should be there. And column I should be the labor date. Column J should be the group, the rate group. And please make sure these rate groups are correct. Please make sure the positions are correct. In column L, column M should be cost center. Again, if any of these are incorrect, the bot's going to reject them, or you're going to see some very strange things in ATP. Period ending. Calendar is very important, especially if your contract order has more than one calendar on ATP. Contract order and invoice authorizer. All of these need to be set up as is. Now I'm going to highlight a few things that you need to be aware of. I've already mentioned some of them, but I'm going to go over them again quickly. Column G, you see this doesn't say NT or OT or PPHQ. These codes, NH100, OT101, LP100, these codes are all AX codes. Please make sure that your ERS account has been set up to reflect these codes. If the bot sees NT here, it's going to throw it back at you, saying it doesn't know what NT is. If it sees LP100, which commonly is known as PPHQ. If it sees that, it's not going to know what that is. It's not going to be able to take those 8 hours of PPHQ and pull it into ATP properly. It needs to see LP100. It needs to see the AX code here. Other very important things are rate groups. This must be exactly what you see in ACS. If this is written as for whatever reason, let me go to the top here. If this is written as rate 1, but ACS knows it as rate 01, this is going to be rejected. The bot's going to pull it in, and it's good. And then ATP is going to reject that because it doesn't know what rate 1 is. It needs to see rate 01. So please make sure that your rate groups are 100% correct. If the bot completes the upload and you're missing some hours, this could be the reason why, and this is one of the first things you check. Another similar issue would be the position. Maybe you've written this in ERS. That's what the value is in ERS. It says general work, but ACS knows it as general worker. The bot's going to upload it into ATP. You're not going to see those hours. They're going to be rejected, and you're not going to know about it. All the bot will say is that it's uploaded the hours, it's did a few checks and balances and noticed there were some hours missing. It's not going to know where because the ATP is the one that knows where. So please check your positions, make sure they are 100% right according to what you see in ACS. The next one is a very common problem, cost centers. Again, this must be exactly what you see in ACS. If you have the wrong cost center over here, again, your hours are going to fall off and they're not going to be shown. Calendar, also very, very important. If you notice when you log on to ATP that you put your contract order in and you've got a couple of lines, let me show you what I'm talking about here. If in ATP you have a few calendars, few lines in here, the bot's going to need to look at this file, at column O, and see what the calendar is over here. It needs to read that accurately to know which line it needs to select. So that selects the right one and opens the right timesheet. So please make sure your calendar is correct. Contract orders, not too important. There just needs to be something under column Q. Column R needs to be the invoice authorizer. Also, just like the position, rate group, cost center, this needs to be exactly what is written in ACS. Once you've checked your file, then you can go on to the next step. We just talked about all of this. You can save your file. Then you can go into the next step, which is emailing the bot. You can send the email to prodbot@adcorp.com. You can see a little illustration over there. So that's the bot's email address. And you interact with the bot as if you were interacting with any other person. The bot is a piece of software. It's not an actual person, but it behaves like a person. Once you've put in the email's address, you need to put in the correct subject. Now, I can't stress how important the subject line is. Very, very important that you write it correctly. That's why I put here the subject line is very important. The bot will get the contract order and period from the subject line. You can see there contract orders in there, and from 08 June 2020 to 14 June 2020. It needs to be in this format. You'll see timesheet underscore. There's your little underscore, that little line at the bottom over there. Then it's your contract order. You'll notice there's no space between the underscore and the contract order, no space after. Then another underscore, and then the date. And the date is a very specific format. Always day, space, month, and letters for the month, not the numbers, space. 2020, year, space, dash, space, day, 14, always must be 2. If it's only the 8th, then you must have a 0 in front, so it must be 08. And here's 14, it's already 2 digits, so that's 14. Space, month, which is in letters, JUN, space, 2020. Very important. If you get this wrong, for example, this is quite common. You don't have 2 digits for the day. You put an 8 over there. The bot's going to read that, say, I'm not too sure what that is, even though it seems a bit obvious to us. The bot needs it exactly right. It's going to send it an email back to you and say, please put the date in correctly, or put the subject in correctly. If you put a space over here, it's going to cause issues. So please just make sure this is 100% right. And I'll go over it again. Timesheet underscore contract order underscore date. And in the manual that you should have in front of you, it's going to give you some examples of what these dates should look like. Alright, so then you're going to attach your export file to the email. Let's see if I've got an example over here. So you got Prodbot, you got your subject, which is 100% right. You got your file, which must be a CSV file, very important. Can't be an XLSX file, must be a CSV file, otherwise it'll be rejected. Once you've done that, then you can click send. I'm not going to do that now, but this is how you send the bot an export file for it to pull into ATP. If you've done this correctly, it's going to give you a response to say that it's imported your times correctly. It should be about 10 to 15 minutes. It's not a long wait, depending on how many other people have requested the same thing of the bot. Yeah, if it doesn't work, then you can just email bot support if there's any issues. If the bot picks up any issues, please note there's a couple of emails it'll send you depending on what the issue is that you've sent it. One issue I do want to highlight before the end of this training video is when you email the bot a time type that it is not aware of. You should know by now, if you've used ATP, if you go onto ATP and you download, when you open up an ATP timesheet, by default you have normal time, overtime, double time, you have all of these. And you know when you download this, you will see here all of the time types that you saw on the ATP in the system itself. You'll see it's over here, and I think you're going to notice these codes here, which is what the bot uses to identify where the normal time goes under, where the leaves must be imported, where the holidays are. If there's a time type that you know that you need that isn't here, let's say for example you need shift allowance SH106, I think that's what it's called. Let's just go here quickly. You need to make sure before the bot even runs, if the bot picks up SH106 on your AX file, but it doesn't see a column on the ATP file, the ATP template, it's not going to be able to upload it. It's going to send you an email saying it tried to, couldn't find a column here for SH106. It was missing, it wasn't here, so it couldn't upload it. In that situation, what we're advising you do is to log into ATP before you send that file to the bot. You go to add additional capture. Let's just see if SH106, so there is no SH106. Let's say it's TR105. Well, actually that's a bad one. Sundries COID. You need to add some COID. Add it to your ATP timesheets. Find one person that needs hours for this COID and capture their hours. Save and calculate. Okay. Probably been timed out, so don't worry about that. But if you do that, then it's going to add that time type to your ATP timesheet. So when you send the bot a AX export file that has COID payment in it, it's going to be able to pick that up. It's going to be able to import it. Okay, please, this is a little bit of a limitation for ATP at this point, and the bot's not to blame here. It's ATP at this point, but please, would you go ahead and do that? All right, so that brings us to the end of this tutorial video. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you contact your OSM. If they can't answer it, they will send it to bot support and they will help you out. Hope this has been helpful. Hope you have a good day. Cheers.